The World Cup is a football festival in which the entire world gathers to watch the beautiful game. A unified planet. Try telling that to this bunch. The World Cup is more than just Cruyff's turn, Pel's dummy, and Diana Ross' accurate shooting. It has a dark and ignominious underbelly. In this video, we'll take a look at 7 of the greatest FIFA World Cup villains. Maradona. Where do we begin? The charge sheet is lengthy and detailed. Maradona was sent off in his first World Cup in Spain, as Argentina's pitiful World Cup defense crumbled against the far superior Brazilians. To be fair, he was mauled by opposing defenders throughout the competition. During his previous match, he resembled Italy's Claudio Gentile. He wouldn't have been surprised if the obstinate Italian had followed Diego into the post-match shower. His patience finally gave way during the Brazil match, when he raked his studs down Batista's leg as his team was defeated once more. Maradona practically carried Argentina to victory in Mexico '86 with a series of performances that will be hard to match in a finals. Nonetheless, Slumdog of Argentina wheeled through the air to punch the ball past Schiltz and knock England out in the quarterfinals. It was a brilliant piece of deception that duped the Tunisian ref into awarding the goal and provided our tabloids with the necessary scapegoat for England's demise. To be fair, the second goal was worth 2 points, but he added to England's woes after the game by attributing his first to the hand of God. The phrase, like the goal itself, enraged English public opinion for a short time, but Maradona has long been forgiven on these shores. Particularly by Terry Butcher, Maradona led his hysterically obnoxious team to the World Cup final in 1990. This was accomplished through a combination of snarling, kicking, shirt-pulling, cynicism, shootout victories, and a glorious display of his genius against Brazil in round 2. In the final, 2 of his volatile teammates were sent off. Maradona bluffed, and FIFA was so outraged that such a spiteful rabble could deface a World Cup final that they actually acted, outlawing the tackle from behind. FIFA had also banned cocaine, and his World Cup playing career came to an end in 1994. Maradona's career had devolved into a drug-fueled farce by this point, so it came as a surprise when he appeared on the world stage in America looking very sharp. In the first game, he completed his comeback with a spectacular long-range goal against Greece. Only a wild-eyed celebration into a TV camera hinted that something was wrong. He was chosen for a drug test after a second impressive performance against Nigeria. This revealed a cocktail of performance-enhancing drugs, which explained Diego's remarkable recovery more than adequately. He was sent home in disgrace, never to play for his country again. Surprisingly, the only World Cup in which Maradona was not embroiled in controversy was in South Africa as team coach. He provided great entertainment as he prowled the technical area, but nothing could compare to the incredible highs and lows of his playing days. Omar Boris. Omar who? No, not Omar, the one-hit wonder with no stage name. Neither did the anti-hero from The Wire, who most likely did. Neither of them took a truly gifted group of players to the 1986 World Cup and then forced them to play like it was a game of life and death. In the death group, Omar Boris did, which is why he's at the top of the list. Boris, ironically, coined the phrase group of death. Uruguay had qualified for the tournament in Mexico with style, and in Enzo Francescoli, he had a player ready to, in tabloids, light up the World Cup. The lights went out, which was unfortunate for the World Cup and Francescoli. Mostly the opponents. Their first match, a draw, went relatively smoothly, perhaps because the South Americans were aware that Harald Schumacher was in the West German goal. However, in the second match against Denmark, Miguel Bosio was sent off in the 19th minute for an appalling challenge. Pep. When Pepe headbutted Germany's Thomas Müller in Portugal's first World Cup game, it affected more than just him. Germany added 2 more goals after being sent off. As a result, Portugal needed to win their final 2 games to advance because their goal differential was shot. However, without Portugal's second most important player, beating the USA proved impossible, and by the time they faced Ghana, the team was all but finished. Slaven Bilic. Rivaldo could have easily won for his improvised, theatrical take on being hit in the knee by a ball, but Slaven Bilic takes home the award for Best Actor. Croatia's clever, articulate, and media-savvy coach delivered arguably the worst piece of acting in World Cup history. Bilic was about to deliver a free kick when Laurent Blanc tried to wiggle free. Blanc's chin collided with Bilic's chest, causing the Croatian to collapse on the floor, clutching his brow. While Rivaldo's collapse was more amusing, it did not stop a French legend from missing the World Cup final in Paris. Imagine if a Balkan rogue had suspended Bobby Moore from the 1966 final under similar circumstances. The Archbishop of Canterbury would have been forced to issue a fatwa in Christian terms. Fortunately for France, if not for Blanc, the home team triumphed over Bilic's treachery and won the match 2-1, going on to win the final without Blanc, who was robbed of his greatest moment. To his credit, Bilic apologized later, but FIFA stuck to its inept rules and barred Blanc from the final. Frank Rijkaard. Nobody condones spitting, even if the recipient is a mullet-haired German stereotype steamrolling his way to another World Cup victory. Most footballers who practice spittle-spreading nip a little bit out as a quick hit-and-run exercise. Not the cosmopolitan former Barcelona coach. Rijkaard realizes that mere words are insufficient after a typical exchange of views associated with the venomous Holland versus Germany rivalry. He conjures up such a beauty that the back of Voller's head resembles a tangled old fishing net lodged in the beachy head surf. The referee then decides to remove both men from the field and allow them to continue their liquid discussion on the way off. As he walks away, Voller maintains a dignified anger. As dignified as a man with expertise in his head can be, Claudio Marchisio. Italy needed only a draw against Uruguay in the final game of the group stage to advance to the knockout round, but the game was turned upside down when Marchisio jabbed Egidio Arevalo Rios in the calf with his cleats. That earned him a straight red card, and Uruguay would go on to win the game 1-0 with a man advantage, sending the Italians home after the group stage for the second World Cup in a row. Harald Schumacher. Harald Schumacher may not have scored with God's hand. He might not have sent a team to kick the crap out of the opposition. When a ball bounced into his knee, he never even collapsed, instead holding his face. Nonetheless, he remains midfield dynamo's #1 World Cup villain. He committed such sick and hideous perversity in a single act that it was an affront to common decency and civilized society. But aside from his trumpet playing, in West Germany's 1986 World Cup song, what about that foul on Patrick Battiston in the 1982 World Cup semi-final in Seville? That is indeed foul. This is what happened if you haven't seen the entire 24 episode Sir Ian McKellen narrated classic documentary series about the foul on the History Channel. Platini played Battiston through, and he easily beat Schumacher to the ball before diverting his shot wide. Schumacher kept running and jumped into Battiston, twisting his body slightly so that the full force of his hip and thigh clattered into Battiston's head. Battiston is knocked out and later falls into a coma. Platini was worried about his teammate's death. While the injured man receives medical attention, the villainous German struts around in his goalmouth, paying no attention to the victim of his crime. He then added to the overwhelming sense of injustice by saving 2 penalties in the shootout to send West Germany to the final. Fortunately, Battiston's injuries were not fatal. Schumacher's reaction when told that Battiston had 3 teeth extracted was typical. "If that's all he's got wrong with him, I'll pay for the crowns." A subsequent newspaper poll ranked him as France's least popular man, though that distinction now belongs to Raymond Domenech. One last point. There was no foul. What is it about Schumachers in Germany? And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you with another interesting video.